Welcome back to Coin Explorer. Today, we're talking about a tiny, humble piece of metal that most of us treat like background noise in our wallets, the U.S. penny. Specifically, the 1998 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin. It's small. It's copper-colored. You probably have dozens of them in a jar. But what if I told you that the real story of a coin like this isn't about its face value? It's about time, craft, chance, and the tiny accidents that turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Stick with me. This is not hype. This is a careful look at history, science, and the one small object that quietly carries both. Let's begin where every good treasure hunt must begin, with careful eyes. The 1998 1-cent coin, the Lincoln Memorial penny, is one of the everyday soldiers of American currency. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's profile looks out as he has for over a century on the cent. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stands in quiet, stoic form, a tiny temple memorialized in metal. The design is familiar, comforting. It's the kind of coin that feels ordinary in your pocket until you lift it to the light and look closely. That close look is the start of the journey. First, the basics. The things we can say with absolute confidence. The 1998 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent is 19.05 millimeters in diameter. It weighs approximately 2.5 grams. Its surface has a warm coppery color, a result of a thin copper plating over a zinc core. That composition, 97.5% zinc core, 2.5% copper plating, has been the U.S. Mint's standard for cents since the early 1980s, when the Mint shifted away from the older all-copper planchets to reduce costs. So yes, the 1998 penny looks coppery, it feels coppery, but inside it is mostly zinc. The color is part of its personality, nostalgic, warm, and somehow classic. Now let's add some context. The year 1998 sits at an interesting place in modern American life. It was a pre-millennium year, full of pop culture moments, dial-up internet noise, and everyday life that would soon be swept by major technological change. The penny itself isn't tied to a politically seismic moment the way some commemorative coins are. It wasn't minted as a special issue, but even coins that are ordinary in intention sometimes become rare in practice, and that's where the real drama begins. Here's the critical, truly important point I want you to remember. A standard 1998 Lincoln Memorial penny is worth 1 cent. That's the baseline. It's the honest, fact-based reality. Now, the reason collectors and treasure hunters get excited is because of the exceptions. The rare technical missteps in the minting process, or the exceptionally preserved specimens that survive the decades without a scratch. Those exceptions are what turn a 1-cent piece into something with real collectible interest. But they're rare, and that's the difference between hope and expectation. So what are those exceptions? The U.S. Mint makes millions and millions of coins each year. With that scale, the machinery sometimes creates anomalies. Errors happen, off-center strikes, double dies, where the design is struck twice in slightly different positions, misapplied or missing mint marks, planchets from other denominations or metals, broadstrikes, and other quirks. Occasionally, a coin will be struck on the wrong metal, for instance, a copper plating over a planchet not meant to be used, or it will receive an unusual die crack, or show a dramatic doubling that catches a collector's eye. Those anomalies can elevate a coin's interest and value, but again, they're the exception. Let's be clear and careful about value, because YouTube's policies and honest storytelling both demand it. The vast majority of 1998 pennies in ordinary circulation are worth 1 cent. If you're curious about top-end values, a raw, ungraded 1998 penny with a mild error might attract $10 to $100 from a collector. Coins with dramatic, authenticated errors, combined with top-tier condition and professional grading, can sometimes reach higher prices. Think in the low hundreds, or in truly rare and exceptional cases, into the low thousands of dollars. For the sake of a single, responsibly framed figure, you can share with your viewers without being misleading. An extremely rare, professionally authenticated and graded 1998 Lincoln Memorial cent might sell for around $1,000 in today's marketplace. But that is an upper-range exceptional case estimate, not a common outcome. Most will still be worth exactly 1 cent. Say that slowly and mean it. The $1,000 figure is a possible outlier, not a promise. Why am I disciplined about that? Because collectors base their purchases on evidence, provenance, and authenticated grading. Professional grading services, like PCGS or NGC, evaluate coins on strict standards. A coin that looks rare must be inspected, cleaned, or not cleaned, often cleaning destroys value, and certified before it will reach the highest prices. The story you want to tell in a video is the path from ordinary pocket change to a coin worthy of grading. The curious finder, the patient inspection, the submission to a grading service, and then the marketplace that decides value. Now let me tell you how to look at a 1998 penny like a detective. First, lighting is your friend. Use bright, direct light and a magnifier or loupe. 10 times is a common starter. Examine the obverse. Lincoln's profile should have crisp lines around the ear, jaw, and coat. Check the date, 1998, and the mint mark. In 1998, you will see pennies from Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, though San Francisco produced mostly proof coins by that time. Look for doubled letters, doubled numerals, or doubling of Lincoln's portrait. On the reverse, study the Lincoln Memorial, the columns, the steps, and the tiny details that sometimes show repunching or die wear. Off-center strikes are among the most obvious and desirable errors. A coin struck off-center will show part of the design missing and a plain, unstruck area of the planchet. The degree of the off-center strike matters. A tiny misalignment is interesting. A dramatic one that removes half the design is much more valuable. Broad strikes and clipped planchets, where the blank was cut improperly, also attract collectors. One more rare and dramatic category is a coin struck over another coin, an overstruck piece that shows ghost images of the previous design. These anomalies trigger serious attention, but they are genuinely rare. Condition is everything. A penny that looked brand new in 1998 and has spent 25 years in a protective holder will attract more attention than one that's been hand-to-hand every day. That's why grading matters. A coin graded MS65 or higher indicates superb, near uncirculated condition. If a rare error exists on a coin that's also MS67 or MS68, that combination can command prices collectors will fight over. But the simple truth is, most coins in pocket change never achieve those grades. There's also a human side to these discoveries. Collectors are not only buying metal, they're buying story. Suppose you're a viewer and you discover a 1998 penny with a dramatic die crack and a clear doubling effect across the date. You send it for grading. It returns authenticated as a rare doubled die in mint state. Suddenly, that coin transforms from a curiosity into a tiny biography of minting history. Who struck it? How many were struck that way? Where did it sit for 25 years before you found it? Those unanswered questions add emotional weight. People don't merely acquire coins, they collect stories. Let me share a hypothetical, believable scenario. No fake headlines, no exaggerated claims. A person cleans out an old jar, finds a 1998 penny with a bold doubled die, an exceptionally sharp detail, decides to send it for grading, and after authentication the coin sells at a specialist auction for a few hundred to a few $1,000s. That sequence happens more often than the occasional penny worth millions story, and it's precisely the kind of honest, exciting narrative that audiences respect. Files of documented auction results support moderate, verifiable prices for such coins, not fantastical seven-figure claims. Now, a practical, step-by-step guide for your viewers, because they'll ask, what should I do if I find something interesting? Step 1. Don't clean it. Cleaning a coin often destroys its collectible value. Step 2. Document everything. Take high-resolution photographs of the obverse and reverse under good light, and note where you found the coin. Step 3. Seek an experienced numismatist or a reputable coin dealer for a preliminary evaluation. Step 4. If the preliminary opinion suggests a significant error or high-grade specimen, consider submitting to a professional grading service for an authoritative assessment. Step 5. Once graded, research recent auction results for similar specimens. Professional auction houses and grading registries provide historical pricing you can rely on. Now let's get personal. Why do collectors care so deeply about a lowly penny? Because coins are time machines. That small metal disc touched the hands of strangers, paid for small human transactions, and survived decades as a witness. The Lincoln cent evokes Civil War-era memory, presidential legacy, and the continuity of everyday life. For some collectors, a 1998 penny is simply nostalgic, a piece of the 1990s that's both ordinary and intimately familiar. For others, it's the potential for a thrilling find. That emotional pull is a legitimate, honest reason to care. If you're making this video for YouTube, frame your narrative responsibly. Start with the image of the ordinary penny, then move into careful facts, composition, dimensions, and the baseline value of 1 cent. Next, introduce the rare exceptions and show real-world examples, photographs of authenticated error coins, images of grading slabs, with proper sourcing. Avoid sensational headlines such as, "Make millions from a penny," or, "This penny will buy you a house." Those claims are not only misleading, but they also violate fair practice and the spirit of honest content that coins deserve. For tone and pacing, make this video like a good detective story. Use curiosity instead of certainty. Invite viewers to examine their own coins. Show them what to look for: doubling, off-center strikes, missing mint marks, repunched mint marks, and unusual coloring that suggests a different metal planchet. Encourage them to be skeptical and methodical. Then, provide next steps. Don't clean the coin, document it, consult an expert, and consider professional grading if warranted. Before we wrap this up, let's be specific about one last practical detail: market expectation. If you want a single, responsible figure you can mention in the video as an attention-grabbing but honest upper bound example, say something like this: while most 1998 pennies are worth 1 cent, an exceptionally rare authenticated error specimen in top condition could command prices up to around $1,000 in specialist markets. That is a rare outlier, not the norm. Saying that gives viewers a clear, realistic expectation without the dangerous lure of unrealistic money claims. Finally, the human call to action. Ask your viewers to share their own finds in the comments, but remind them again not to post images of valuable coins publicly without expert guidance, since images alone can't authenticate. Invite them to share the video with friends who keep jars of change. Encourage them to treasure the small things in life. Sometimes, a tiny coin carries the heft of history. Thank you for watching, Coin Explorers. If you loved this kind of careful, curiosity-driven content, the kind that respects history and avoids sensationalism, hit subscribe and ring the bell. We'll keep hunting, learning, and telling honest stories about the small objects that hold big histories. And remember, don't toss that penny. Check it. Learn its story. Because sometimes, down at the bottom of a dusty jar, a tiny coin might turn into a doorway. Not necessarily to a fortune, but to a remarkable piece of history. Keep looking, keep asking questions, and may your next find be exactly the kind of rare, authenticated treasure that collectors will remember.